Hello, I'm the Masked Analyst. This is the second video I am making in a series discussing how my account was suspended and how the DMCA can be used to suspend anyone's account. If you haven't watched my first video, do so now before you view this one. In this video, I will explain what the DMCA is and what it requires YouTube to do. In the next video that I make, I will discuss how the interaction of the DMCA's requirements and YouTube's enforcement policy endangers your account. Before I go on, let me state that I am not a lawyer. There are many things that make more sense than taking legal advice from me, like running with scissors down the side of Mount Everest. But I studied the relevant portion of the DMCA, and I think I have a better grasp of it than most people. If I state anything that is incorrect, I urge any of you, including representatives of YouTube, to correct me. Show me where I'm wrong. If you can provide case law to back up your argument, then I will be happy to learn from you. Now, if you haven't done so already, watch my first video in my series and read my correspondence with YouTube's legal department. It is necessary background for you to understand this video. Do this now before watching the rest of this video. Harry from YouTube's Copyright Enforcement Department is so unresponsive that I wonder why they even bother hiring him. Actually, I'm not even sure he is a human being. He seems only capable of parroting back their policy, which I'm quite capable of reading on my own, thank you very much. He also is able to make statements of the obvious. Judging from my correspondence with him, he seems void of human empathy and incapable of judgment or independent thought. Trying to get Harry to respond to logic or evidence that YouTube made a mistake is as likely to be successful as trying to destroy a black hole with a fly swatter. I think Harry is not a human. He's just an AI program running on a computer. For those of you who don't know what AI stands for, it stands for artificial idiocy. If you read Harry's September 11th letter to me, you will see that he states that the law requires YouTube to remove a video when YouTube receives a complaint. This is a dirty, stinking lie. Let me say that again. This is a dirty, stinking lie. Well, maybe it's not a lie. Maybe Harry really believes what he says, in which case he is merely incompetent and not a liar. But it just feels so good to say, dirty, stinking lie. Okay, but despite the fact that it feels good to call Harry a dirty, stinking liar, it is more likely that he is either incompetent or that he is just following orders, like a good little German circa 1940. If he is incompetent, then it is certainly not the first time that YouTube's copyright department has acted incompetently. I devoted a page on my website to discuss the time when YouTube closed down Liberal Viewer's account, and Liberal Viewer had to instruct YouTube's copyright department about how the DMCA works. I'll post a link in the sidebar to this page. Read it and tell me whether you think that YouTube staffs its copyright division with competent legal experts or whether they have outsourced this function to Curly, Larry, and Moe in order to save a few bucks. Now, despite what Harry says, the law does not require YouTube to remove videos in response to DMCA complaints. If they don't remove a video after receiving a complaint, the Internet police aren't going to be busting down the doors of corporate officers at 3 o'clock in the morning and dragging them off to jail. And if anyone at YouTube tells you that the law requires them to shut down accounts of repeat offenders and permanently prevent them from returning to YouTube, that too is either a lie or evidence of gross ignorance of the law. It doesn't require them to do any of this. And if you don't believe me, then just go and visit Gawker.com. They are hosting the infamous Tom Cruise Scientology video, despite a DMCA complaint about the video from the Church of Scientology. I will be posting a link to the Tom Cruise video as well as to the church's threat of litigation because Gawker was using the copyrighted material against their will. Despite this DMCA takedown notice, Gawker recognized that it was important to keep this video up on the internet because it was newsworthy, and they ignored the DMCA notice. Last I heard, no one at Gawker was dragged off to jail over this. The fact of the matter is, the DMCA does not require sites to take down videos. Let me state that again, so even the folks at YouTube who are a bit slow can get this through their heads. The DMCA does not require YouTube to take down videos. You are not coerced by the law to remove videos. It is your policy to remove videos upon receiving DMCA notices. It is your policy that causes you to suspend accounts automatically, whether the accused is guilty or not, after 3 copyright complaints. You should not try to portray yourselves as helpless victims who are only doing what the law requires, when your actions go well beyond what the law demands. I will explain what the DMCA demands of YouTube, but first I want to say a quick word about the purpose of copyright law and the fair use doctrine. What is copyright law and why was it created? If you answer that copyright law was invented in order to allow authors, musicians, and video makers to have control over their works and profit from them, then you are wrong! Copyright law does give creators the right to profit and control their works to a certain extent. But this is only the means that is used to obtain the ends intended by copyright law. If you want to discover the real purpose of copyright law, you will have to turn to Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Copyright law was invented not to enrich creators, but to provide an environment conducive to the creation of new works that will increase our knowledge and advance our understanding of the world. Advance our understanding of the world and society. Copyright law does, as I have said, reward creators and give them limited control over what they produce in order to give them an incentive to produce new works. But copyright law also recognizes that very few works are produced out of thin air. Many, if not most, works build upon works that have come before them. New literature often references themes or characters produced in previous works. New scientific findings often build upon what has been previously discovered. New commentaries and parodies must borrow from the works that they are commenting on. And in order to allow a creator to comment, to build on, or to deconstruct previous works, copyright law has never given authors total control over what they have produced. If anyone was given total control over their works, they could prevent others from using what they had discovered in order to make new discovery. They could also prevent others from criticizing their works and pointing out their flaws. This would defeat the purpose of copyright law. There is a fundamental tension within copyright law. On one hand, it was to give authors an incentive to create new works by giving them an opportunity to profit from their work and have control over how their work is used. On the other hand, it wants to foster an environment where others can build upon the works that have come before them. Copyright law has always been a balancing act between these two objectives, and this balancing act is embodied in the fair use doctrine. If you want to learn more about the purpose of copyright law and the fair use doctrine, then I encourage you to visit my website. I am posting 2 links in the sidebar of this video to articles that I wrote that discusses this in much more detail. I want to keep video segments under 10 minutes so that if anyone wants to copy this to their YouTube account, they can feel free to do so. So I'll end the video here. Please check back for the second part of this video. Thank you.